FYI, I'm probably gonna agree with Asmongold on this, okay? But
last night at the nation's capital. The victims were leaving an event held by the American Jewish Committee. We do have the latest photo.
That really looks bad. That really, really, really looks bad. If it's an American Jewish event and it's not something that is explicitly for Israel, this looks very, very not good.
Of those victims. Metropolitan Police Department officials identifying the suspect as 30.
But don't you know, Asmongold? Don't you know that it's not anti. How could you? Okay, clearly they had Israeli ties. If I'm using Hasan standards here, clearly he had Israeli ties. Okay, what else can I say, right? No, seriously. If you try to use Hasan standards, his standards apply, right? Him trying to justify the Galaxy, the Galaxy tanker, right? Saying how, they were friends or whatever, so therefore it justified, attacking the Galaxy cruiser or something, right? Like, in a way, yeah, if even if they are Jewish, right? If you use Hasan's logic, you can say, well, most Jews are, pro-Israeli. So therefore, therefore it's a justified anti-Israeli attack. It's not anti-Semitic, right? It's pro-Palestinian. Don't you understand?
year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten joining us now to report on the latest.
Tolerate anti-Semitism.
Law enforcement in Washington, D.C. say two staff members of the...
I mean, you heard her say it.
Semitism. Tolerate anti-Semitism.
Nice.
Was this from the Twitch headquarters or from Chicago? Sorry, did they explain that? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Law enforcement in Washington, D.C. say two staff members of the Israeli embassy are dead after being shot while leaving an event Wednesday night at the Capitol Jewish Museum.
The suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum. He approached a group of 4 people, produced a handgun, and opened fire.
We heard between 10 to 15 gunshots, roughly.
Wow.
Tragically, the male and female victims were a couple preparing to be engaged.
Jesus.
The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend.
After the attack, witnesses in the museum
This
saw
is
a man
horrible.
run in before tensions flared.
The
Jesus.
security guard happened to let this guy in. I guess they were thinking that he was a victim. He was in shock. And, some of the people at the event brought him water.
Yeah, I handed him water. I've never interacted with a murderer before.
He's like, somebody called cops, bring the cops in. When the cops actually came in, he said, I did this. He said, sir, I'm unarmed. He put his hands up. He grabbed a red keffiyeh out of his pocket and started the Free Palestine chants.
Once in handcuffs, police say the suspect told them where he stashed the gun, and they were able...
It's literally like the most clear-cut thing ever. Like, it's actually so ridiculously clear-cut. Like, for once, we don't have to guess about the shooter's motivations, right? For once, we don't have to, like, think about what's going on, right? Fuck. Yeah.
to recover it.
There is no active threat in our community.
In a post to Truth Social, President Donald Trump wrote in part, quote, hatred and radicalism have no place in the USA. This deadly shooting comes in the wake of increasing Israeli military operations across the Gaza Strip as IDF forces try to eliminate Hamas militants and free remaining hostages. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
All right, Gary, thank you so much for that detailed report. Again, taking you back out to the nation's capital, outside of that Israeli embassy. Just tragic news where 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy were killed. We do want to continue to follow the very latest developments. Now checking in with our content partner.
Imagine being this mindfucked by politics to feel like you need to murder someone in the U.S., let alone 2. And more than that, like, dude, he didn't. I'm sorry, but if you were like actually a shooter who knows what they're doing, imagine picking out a young couple as the targets. What a heinous thing to do. Like, it's so ridiculous. I don't know, dude. It's crazy.
Over at Fox 35
Why?
Orlando as they speak with Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader.
Let's see what they say.
Has left 2 Israeli embassies.
Oh my God.
9 o'clock last night, there was an event at the Capital Jewish Museum, which is actually just a few.
What the fuck?
What is happening, dude?
There were 12-year-olds on Xbox Live that had better audio than that. What the hell is this?
Blocks away from the U.S. Capitol building. This couple walking out of that museum was gunned down. Now, whether they were specifically targeted, it's not clear, but as the gunman was taken into custody, the suspected gunman, he was yelling, "Free, free Palestine," and police say that that chant continued even after he was taken into custody. So, you know, the motive...
If the people that are big advocates of Palestine don't, like, pretty much unequivocally condemn this in every single way, and if they run even a 1% of defense for this, this will, I think, massively shift the sentiment in the public against their movement in a way that I think is irreparable. I do. This will, yeah, it will end the movement. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's, they're not condoning it. That's...
He's right. he's just right. He's right. He's correct.
It's not enough.
Seems pretty evident there. Whether these...
Worst person you know just made a great point.
Individuals themselves were specifically targeted beyond their association, that the fact that they were coming out of
are already defending and supporting it. I'll look at the Reddit stuff after this.
This museum isn't entirely clear. We're still in early stages here, but just given what's going on right now with Israel and Gaza and the protests we've seen, the anti-Israel protests we've seen around the country, this obviously is getting a lot of attention around the globe. And what we're hearing from Israel right now is that they're stepping up security at their facilities around the world in response to what happened here in Washington last night.
Yeah, just a young couple, heartbreaking to see their photos. We understand that apparently they were about to get engaged, so we do understand that they were a couple. What do we know about the alleged shooter, Doug? I heard from Chicago, is that right?
That's correct. That's what police are telling us. 30 years old.
Senator Omar refused to give a statement on it today.
Boy.
I mean, I've been trying to say this shit was bad. I've tried to say that these people are absolute poison to their movement, and they're going to make it worse. I've tried so hard, guys. I've tried so much, but in the end, it didn't even matter, and it happened anyway. Wow.
I mean, Trump made a great point too, kind of discussing that we have to agree with these two, but hey, I blame Hasan that he's shooter. Again, it's always a debate on, you know, who's worse, right? Like, if Hasan is, you know, Hasan and Asmongold are both really bad. I can totally see a world, because right now hindsight is 2020, right? Right now we live in the timeline in which right now the shooter is inspired by somebody like Hasan. But in another timeline, somebody who is a right-wing lunatic could be directly inspired by Asmongold, right? Like, the thing is, you know, we have to keep everything in perspective, even though, you know, the situation is bleak. You know, or, you know, we can go like, oh, you know, it's so obvious or whatever. Well, you know, like, you know, we live in a specific timeline, all right? Don't let timeline bias pollute your cognitive thinking, okay? Should I call it timeline bias? There has to be something to call it, like, because it sounds like I'm referring to, like, some multi-dimensional Avengers Endgame type shit, but whatever.
Arrested here, and
it's a false flag. 2 people are still dead. It, like, yeah, they're still dead. That doesn't matter. What matters is how people are reacting to it.
They say that he was spotted kind of pacing outside the museum, but they don't have prior interactions with him that we know of. So, you know, that aspect of this still remains something of a mystery.
And Doug, moving over to the big, beautiful bill, we've been talking a lot about that.
Is this the
lawmakers have been working really around
story, just tragic news. And then we are learning more about the victims. As I transition the screen, if you're just now tuning in, showing you those two victims, again, learning that they were engaged to be married. The D.C. shooting where two staff members of the Israeli embassy.
This is also the worst optics, where you have some like fat neckbeard that goes out and shoots two young, attractive people that are getting engaged. It looks really bad. It does. This is the same, and I guarantee you, like, you're not.
And they're white. And they're white. What can I say? You really fucked up there. A brown person. I'm assuming they're brown, right? Or unless they're also like a fat white person or something, right? You again, this is like a really attractive couple. Like, you really doing goof there, dude. Like, way to go on making your movement look good. Dude, you fucked up big time. Oh my god. And you're not gonna get anything out of it. You look like a clown. Everyone's gonna be disavowing you except for Hasan, I guess. But, you know,
Not gonna see girls simping for this guy the same way they did for Luigi.
Yep.
I told you.
Yep.
Were killed. Let's check in now with our content partners over at Fox.
Yeah, he's right. Women just don't think, okay? When was the last time you ever saw a woman think? I hate asking him to think he's dumb, but does he spew the kind of rhetoric that would inspire something similar to this? Oh, absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. Yes. Dude, I feel like I made so many videos of Asmongold being absolutely fucking unhinged. Which is crazy. So do you? Yeah, but at least I admit to it. Yeah.
X5 DC, as they do have.
Also remember, it's also about magnitude and double standards, okay? A lot of people are going to be amplifying rhetoric that's going to inspire killers 100%. But remember, it's all about magnitude and double standards. Who are the people that are being hypocritical and not condemning themselves? Who are the people who are how do I want to say it? Like, who are the people who are having much worse rhetoric? Let's just put it like that. Yeah. I admit I haven't kept up with the Asmon slop. I have not either for the past few days. Normally I'm like right on the spot of what Asmongold says, right? But, you know, I don't think he's changed whatsoever. So, you know, like, I think it's the same critiques also apply, right? Like, again, and I'll say this 100 times, okay? For example, Asmongold advocates constantly for breaking the law in order to inflict suffering onto other people. Asmongold advocates, he jokes around about how he wants to dress up as Ash Ketchum to accompany ICE on immigrant catching tours. He constantly brings up how violent immigrants are, brown people immigrants are, and how they will rape people, how, you know, they will kill people, how they will chop people's hands off and stuff like that, in order to justify, you know, disobeying due process. Asmongold will also, you know, talk all day about Tesla burnings, but he'll never, ever, ever condemn anything on the right when it comes to violence. Ever. Ever. Except for January 6th, but that's like years ago, and you should condemn that. Like, that's a very low bar to meet, right? So the thing is that, again, I don't want people to be biased by timeline bias, okay, or hindsight is 2020, okay, because it's a very easy bias that a lot of humans fall into just because you see something, you know, in front of you, right? For example, again, all right, hindsight is when you see something like this happening and you can easily go, oh, people like Hasan are people who are making the situation worse by, you know, inspiring all these shooters, blah, 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 right? However, what you don't see is another timeline in which people like Asmongold would 100% inspire equal amounts of shooters or also inspire political violence, which, again, this is exactly what happened already, right? You have people storming the Capitol because of pundits like Asmongold. You have people who, well, not because Asmongold was a pundit at the time, but the way that he is acting right now is exactly like people like Tim Pool and other commentators who inspire people to go to the Capitol and still get people killed, right? Like people still died in that fucking thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of cops committed suicide after that event. It's insane. But just remember, okay, it's about double standards and it's about magnitude. Okay, it's never about whether or not a streamer is is advocating for violence or saying language that inspires violence. It's about magnitude and it's about double standards. Period. Okay.
Team coverage this morning.
Appreciate you joining us here on Fox 5 at 6 a.m. Also streaming on Fox Local. And we start this morning with the Fox 5 News alert, a deadly double shooting in the district.
The victims, two staff members of the Israeli embassy. The pair were gunned down last night while leaving an event at a Jewish museum in Northwest D.C.
We have live team coverage for you this morning. Stephanie Ramirez has been getting reaction from the Jewish community in D.C., including people who were at the museum as the shooting unfolded.
But we begin with Makia in our newsroom with the latest on that investigation. Makia.
Good morning, Steve, Marissa. The shooting happened around 9 o'clock last night outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum along 3rd and F Streets. And this morning, the Embassy of Israel to the U.S. identified the victims as Yaron and Sarah. The embassy shared this image of the couple saying the embassy is heartbroken by their murders. Well, now to video that you first saw here on Fox 5 of the person believed
You consider to be domestic terrorism. What this situation, I would call it stochastic terrorism. But I wouldn't say domestic terrorism. Wait, also the word terrorism has lost all meaning, I feel like when people use the word, it just like stops meaning anything these days. Terrorism is whenever somebody I don't like kills somebody or burns down cars, right? And it's not terrorism apparently when, you have government officials who are raiding other people's houses and shit, like looking for people to deport when it's not, when to supersede due process. Like it's just ridiculous. Like this is why I try not to condemn anything as terrorism, because the word fucking lost the usage, right? The only time when I use the word is when I'm saying about Hasan, because that's like the more stereotypical definition of terrorism. Yeah.
to be the suspect, police identifying him as 30-year-old.
Specifically, it's when someone uses violence for a political aim. That is not the definition whatsoever in any kind of way. You didn't even use the word terror. You didn't even utilize the terror in the word terrorism, dude. Yeah.
Elias Rodriguez from Chicago in that video. He can be heard yelling, "Free, free Palestine." Authorities say Rodriguez was seen pacing outside of a museum.
I mean, yes, the word is overused, but this is the definition, right? No, it's not. Unless you're talking about stochastic terrorism, then I would agree with you. People use... The thing is that I just refuse to absolutely use any kind of language by their definitions when I disagree with the definition. It's just ridiculous.
For the shooting, he then walked inside after opening fire. He was quickly detained by the security. Now, Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, is calling this a, quote, act of targeted violence. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
It is absolutely an act of targeted violence. It's not even a question. I mean, obviously they have to investigate it, and I'm speaking as a layman, and so a police officer has a higher standard of this than I do. But yes, it's very obvious this is happening.
You know what's the funniest thing, and you know what's one of the biggest flaws of any kind of movement ever, is when you feel as though the necessity to apply a label supersedes all other forms of analysis of the situation. All right, I'll give you an example. It's when pro-Palestinian people constantly tell you to define the situation as a genocide, when it's so easy to just simply say the situation is bad. By doing so, you remove a lot of nuance when it comes to interpreting solutions for the situation, and you remove any kind of humanity or any kind of empathy that comes from actually viewing a situation from shades of gray rather than in terms of shades of black and white. This is the problem with Asmongold viewers. This is a problem with Asmongold. This is also a problem with Hasan, and we should do well to remember that. when somebody is inspired to do violence because of things like this, we shouldn't just view it from a stance of Hasan bad, so therefore Hasan inspires something like this. Because there's plenty of shooters and there's plenty of murders that is inspired directly from right-wing pundits.
Has spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser insisting that there's no ongoing threat.
The horrific incident is going to frighten a lot of people in our city and in our country. And I want to be clear that we will not tolerate this violence or hate in our city.
I spoke to the President of the United States multiple times tonight on behalf of the President. His prayers are with all of us, all of the Jewish community, everyone in Washington, D.C., state, local, and federal agencies, and our great U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, who will be...
Do you think this will label the protesters as terrorists now and it'll do a crackdown? No. But I do think that it will cause this, this group, because this is what I'm assuming is going to happen. I am assuming that this group of people is so brain broken that they will be unable and unwilling to condemn this person.
I don't condemn anyone. I don't have First Amendment rights. You have First Amendment rights. As long as you're living in this country or whatever, you have First Amendment rights. I still don't know why this is such a hard thing for people to understand. Wait, oh, joking. Okay, I got fucking fooled.
Who did this shooting, and even some of them will be celebrating it. And this will cause them to lose a tremendous amount of mainstream support. And I think that without that mainstream support, what's going to happen is it will galvanize the government and other types of, authoritative agencies to be more aggressive with treating them as if they're problematic groups of people, like the KKK, for example. And I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying this is the perspective that people are going to have. And it's going to normalize that behavior. They never condemned them. Yeah, exactly.
Prosecuting this case will be doing everything. And
I hope you guys remember that as I'm equivocating Asmongold to Hasan, remember this. That, again, hindsight is 2020. And, yeah, just keep that in mind. Right? That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Our power to keep all citizens safe.
Yep.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he is, quote, shocked by the, quote, horrific anti-Semitic shooting. He has stepped up security.
Like how you guys act towards Trump and how you refuse to admit.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Okay. I remember what I was going to say. Okay. Okay. Asmongold. Also, hi, David Barron. I want to say this. Asmongold, dude, it's... I forgot again, okay? Forget about it, okay?
He does anything wrong, you're celebrating this horrible bill. Not only is your English wrong because you don't know how to use the proper form of your... but also you are saying, you guys, you don't know what my viewpoints are. You're just basically, you're playing, actually, let's we're going to ban him just for being retarded. Oh, never mind. I can't, his message is gone. Who cares? And so anyway, yeah, there you go. But no, that's it.
We know what Asmongold's viewpoints are. By the way, I just want to say this. You don't need to know someone's viewpoint just from what they say is saying, like, oh, these are my viewpoints. You can tell what someone's viewpoints are by their sense of humor, what they show to their stream, and by what they talk about. Even when they're joking. Yes?
That has nothing to do with what I was saying. What are the chances they call for the death penalty if this guy's found guilty? I mean, I would say pretty high. Trump never condemned the Nazi that that drove through a gathering in Charlottesville. What do you say on that?
Yep. I said that.
Are you going to say sorry? Do you want to say sorry? Uh-oh. It looks like there's no response. He's not roaching out, is he? Guys, wait, you didn't just make something up and now you're getting called out for it and you're roaching out.
Wait, is Asmongold denying that this happened? This did happen, did it not? Fuck me, dude. Dude, what the fuck is he saying? Did this not happen? Charlottesville car attack. The Charlottesville car attack was a white supremacist terrorist attack perpetrated on August 12, 2017, when James Alex Fields Jr. deliberately drove his car into a crowd of people peacefully protesting the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, killing one person and injuring 35. Fields, 20, had previously espoused neo-Nazi and white supremacist beliefs and drove from Ohio to attend the rally. Boom! Fucking... Dude, this is what I'm talking about. This is literally what I'm talking about. People like, dude, people are like Asmongold are literally as bad as Hasan. Like, I'm sorry, they just are. All right, they just literally are. No, he is saying it didn't happen. He is saying that Trump condemned it. He already watched the video. Okay, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Reap what you sow, Trumpers. You voted for radicalization. Trump won of radicalization. Munz, come on. You don't have a single, like, there's nothing you're going to say. You should fact check him. Great idea. Let's fact check him. Here it is. All right, so here's the quote. I'm not talking.
Oh my god. Is he gonna talk about, oh, there's violence on both sides and there's good people on both sides, quote? By the way, I just want to say that's not a real condemnation, okay? I just want to say that first, okay? Telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by, unless it's a strong condemnation, yes, he is. It's not when you have Proud Boys at the Capitol later on in January 6th, and Trump refuses to call off the January 6th attack at first. It's not. When you're enabling these people to become even worse people down the road, by saying rhetoric that galvanizes his base, it's not a condemnation. It is a condemnation when it's viewed by stupid people. Not saying that you're stupid, but you're stupid in this specific scenario, okay?
Talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. So I was wrong? That's correct. Whenever you're talking about Trump voting for radicalization, look in the mirror.
All embassies around the world.
Got it.
Guys? And reaction from last night's shooting is pouring in, as you said, from all over. Many saying that
like, I'm sorry. You guys realize that, you know, I condemn, like, I don't, fuck, I hate the word condemn, okay? It's such a meaningless statement. You guys realize that, you know, I criticize both Asmongold and Hasan, right? Like, I'm not like a Hasan defender, and I'm certainly not an Asmongold defender. Why do you think this is the case? Is it because I'm a centrist who, is it because I'm a centrist pretending that I'm incredibly, like, nuanced and oh, what, I'm so principled, guys. Oh, I'm a centrist. Oh, I'm a moderate. No. I have very specific beliefs. And these two people suck. And they're hypocrites. Right? That's my entire point. That's literally what I talk about every day on this stream.
they didn't know what was happening.
The couple.
This is why I get pissed. Okay? Whenever somebody goes like, oh, well, you're just an Asmongold hater. You're just a Hasan hater. Yeah, no shit, I hate them. It's because they're hypocritical, violence instigating pieces of shit.
Killed as they were leaving the museum after an apparent event there. Fox 5's Stephanie Ramirez live in Northwest this morning with more from the scene. Steph.
Hey guys, we're learning a little bit more about the fear and the terror that was felt last night. The calls are coming in for an active shooter at the museum. Now, obviously, this is still a very protected scene at this hour. We're some 9 hours out, but I want to show you we're not at the front of the museum.
Do you think Trump will issue a Muslim ban for the U.S.? No, this has nothing to do with Muslims. I don't even know if the guy was a Muslim. There are tons of people that are part of the Support Free Palestine movement that aren't Muslims. Like, what does this have to do with Muslims? Nothing.
I'm just getting
It's just a guy. Like,
Jesus.
You know what's funny is that I bet in a Muslim country this would have had a much lower probability of happening.
It's actually down there,
like in Saudi Arabia,
traffic light, 3rd and F Streets Northwest over
highly
there.
unlikely.
Now, the two killed, not just embassy staffers. They were a couple with plans to get married. The Israeli embassy and Israel's foreign ministry sharing their photo on social media. The ministry also wrote that Israelis, diplomats and representatives around the world stand on the front lines of Israel's diplomatic efforts, defending the country with their very lives, and that they will not be deterred.
What do you mean? You're gonna choose to ignore me the whole time and you choose to acknowledge that? Well, ignoring implies that, you know, I'm not reading your messages. I am reading your messages. I'm thinking about them. I'm just not replying to... I'm just not replying to them. Okay, it's fine. All right, yeah, it's... I promise you I'm not fully ignoring your messages. Look, multiple people find me hot when I'm mad. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, I accept
by terror. Reverberations of this shooting is being felt all across the world, with condolences and vows to stand against anti-Semitism also being shared. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser, as you heard, started speaking to this at last night's emergency news conference. Authorities also spoke about making sure to make contact with the city's Jewish institutions to make sure that they have any extra security needed this morning. Support also coming from the highest office. Israel's ambassador said he spoke with President Donald Trump last night on the phone. Here is some more from the ambassador.
The couple that was gunned down tonight in the name of Free Palestine. It's a young couple about to be engaged. The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. They were a beautiful couple who came to enjoy an evening in Washington's Cultural Center.
Not anymore.
I will say this. We are a resilient people. The people of Israel are resilient people, and the people of the United States of America are resilient people. Together we won't be afraid. Together we'll stand, and we're going to overcome moral depravity of people who think that they're going to achieve political gains through murder.
Guys, our crew on scene last night spoke with...
So we have another person, and this is another individual in Chad, and I just want you guys to see these kinds of people, right? You should have heard the words shared by a Republican representative on Fox News reacting to this in his anti-Arab and Islamophobic rhetoric. Do you completely and fully condemn this shooting and say that the person was an awful person? Like, do you completely condemn it and say that, you know, shooting these people was completely unjustified and it was awful? Of course. Okay, so then we're in agreement. I'm sure somebody had a bad take on it. Yeah, you're totally right. There's probably somebody out there that's an asshole.
So do you support ethnic cleansing of Gazans? I certainly do not. The only thing I disagree with is the labeling that it's a fucking genocide. I think that's ridiculous. So far, at the very least. But I have always been like, dude, oh my god, this entire, you know, my politics, my personal politics might differ from the way that I cover these streamers.
That's using this to push some xenophobic, you know, racist rhetoric. Yeah, sure, of course. That's bad.
With witnesses, many of them in disbelief that this happened, especially because of what this event was about. We'll hear more of that.
Tone policing? Dude, what are you talking about? People like Hasan tone police all the fucking time. Their entire streaming career is tone policing. Oh, you're not allowed to say the N-word with a soft A, even though it's, like, not in a racist setting. What the fuck?
In about 30 minutes. Guys.
Well, I guess we'll Stephanie, thank you. We're going to stay on. And so there it is. And let's see here. Take the politics out of it. It was just two innocent human beings in reality. You know what I mean? I think most people know what you mean.
Okay. Wait, what are you talking to? Politics is an entire point. Whatever, man. I don't care anymore. Okay. You're one of these people of color Alex wants to say that. I'm not an ally of anybody, okay? The only people I support that are allies is the allies in World War II against the heinous Nazi Germany, okay, who fucking suck. Okay.
Single night with total impunity.
Oh boy. Oh no. Oh my god, he's like say it, Foodshops. Nigga. There you go. You're welcome. Why does Nazi Germany suck? They make the same claims as Zionist Israel. Okay, let me know when, you know, Israel starts like making literal fucking gas chambers, I guess. I don't fucking know. You literally can't call it Nazi Germany if it's not even close to Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany was not fucking Nazi Germany was not at the behest or they weren't just like being pushed around by the UN all the fucking time, right? Or being measured to see whether or not they were committing war crimes. Stupid. Okay, you're gone. Bye. Alright, cool. All fucking good discussion has stopped. I'm glad. I'm glad that's the case. Okay, it saves me time. Okay, so I don't get one guide by a fucking moron in chat.